There are 57 countries in Africa. So every one of those markets is unique. Every one of them represents different opportunities and different challenges. But each one of them actually has the opportunity, because it's not bounded by this historical investment, this legacy infrastructure in the way that many of the developed economies are. Actually, the opportunity is to leapfrog. And I can tell you, many of the countries in which we operate, and you'll know this as well as I do, many of those countries are already trialling and rolling out LTE, 4G type technologies. So innovation is alive and well all over Africa.
Egypt and Libya are countries in which you do have operations, and those two countries have seen quite a bit of political and economic upheaval in the last 2-3 years. What are the operations there like right now?
So let me take Libya first. That's the smaller of the two operations, and we've only ever had a fairly small, half a dozen people or so based in Libya. And candidly, we weren't sure what was happening at the time that the Gaddafi regime was being taken down. So we've stayed away from investment, waiting to see what happens post the Gaddafi regime. I've got to tell you, the speed at which the market is coming back has surprised us. I don't think it's just us. Egypt is a bigger market. It's one of our 4 focus countries. And at some point, what's going on in the market or politically, geopolitically, will obviously stabilise. It's not going to go on forever. We all hope it will stabilise sooner rather than later. For us, it's a bit of a wait and see in the short term. We're continuing to support the team there. We're continuing to see good business happen. But at some point in time, I expect that the acceleration of that business to really take off.
Across Africa, really, especially when it comes to SMEs, to use a phrase from economists, informal tends to be normal. The bulk, really, of SMEs across Africa exist off-grid, off the tax code for the most part. How then do you work with companies like these? Because for the most part, even just getting information about these companies tends to be a challenge for a lot of SSA economies.
I'm not going to pretend that that's an easy one to wrestle with. I think there are a couple of things I would say. One is, we do leverage our partner capability to go to market. So firstly, that's all about scale, and secondly, it's all about layering the services around the technology that make our solutions relevant to any given industry.
Which essentially also lets you take advantage of the local intelligence your partners offer.
Exactly. It is a different market, Africa. It's not dissimilar to many emerging markets, whether it's the Middle East or Russia or Latin America. If you compare those markets to Western Europe or the US, there is a way of doing business. It's more formalized and more structured, and one that we're more used to, and candidly, we are more comfortable with it because we are bound by regulation. We have a very strong culture around ethics. Every employee is expected to sign annually the Code of Business Conduct, and that can present challenges in how some companies and individuals around Africa would want to do business.